And we are live with episode 1, our official first episode of the Crapshoots hockey podcast.
Oh, yes. I'm Dan Fry, and obviously
I'm Bob Campbell.
And yeah, how's your week?
Pretty good. Got lots of work done, you know.
Had a solid draft.
Did our awesome draft, yeah, at your place. Watched you crush a nice triple.
Oh yeah, my slow pitch moment. Thanks to the sun. drove a played in the year-end slow pitch tournament, and then ended up hitting a triple with you guys in attendance because I had a note, and I actually had a lot of comments on the bench about you guys. It's like, oh, bringing your posse, are you, hey Dan? What are autographs before, or are they after the program? Like, do we have to wait, or what's going on here? Shut up. Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
It's your fault for winning. We had other plans.
Yeah, which unfortunately we actually lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another edition of the Crapshoots Hockey Podcast, episode 1.
Yep. So I guess so we'll roll right into our first segment, which is Bandwagon Watch of the Week, which we kind of, to be totally honest, it's preseason hockey. It was pretty tough to watch. So most of my opinion is coming from like the 20 minutes of the game that I watched, and then like a bunch of articles I read.
I admittedly didn't watch any games. I mean,
all right. Well, then we'll breeze through this. Once the season comes by, it'll be a lot easier to find replays after.
I think it'd be easier for me to I can at least ask you questions about the Sharks, because like, were there full lineups, or like could you even gauge anything?
Like I said, I wasn't like, it was preseason. It's hard to tell because I don't really know. It's different when we watched the Habs, because I knew who was on the bubble and who was who. But when I was watching the Sharks, because I really am not familiar with them at all, I only knew the top, 10 names. So for me, everyone else, I could hear them talking about, who was on the line, like that, the DeMello guy. Like, I didn't realize he had been playing for a few years. Yeah, Dylan DeMello. I didn't realize he had been around for so long, kind of thing, where I thought he was a rookie competing. So it was really cool to see, but I don't think watching
many of the guys were, I don't think many of the guys would have made the team, or
like I said, I won't even know the difference because they're all just names to me at this point. Like to follow a team that I don't really know the system very well in the preseason, I don't think was a very good idea. Because like I barely got, like, it was hard for me to follow. Like, had we followed like the Sens or the Oilers, or like, I guess any of the team
that we would have routinely watched, just to even give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, instead of picking the Sharks, like it was decent. Again, it was preseason hockey, so I'm sure like regular games against those teams would have been great. Mostly my notes, that Sorensen kid is fast. Like, he had a goal there last night against Vegas that was pretty smooth mitts and nice feet. But I just heard he got cut. So what do I know?
The eye test. That's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then, I mean, Thornton's got it. I guess he doesn't have a step to lose. He was never the quickest guy, but I don't know. He's not shown any signs of slowing down. How long do you think, I guess Shane Doan lasted fairly long. What do you think? Like, what do you think about Thornton, like, longevity-wise?
Well, even the limited amount of games that I would have watched with Thornton, it was, him, Marlowe were the pairing that was always there. And then it seemed like, I believe, I want to say Bodker was in there a few times, but Thornton seemed to be, the beard, number one.
Yeah, but what do you think about his play style? Like, do you think he'll age well with it? Like, usually guys, like, he's 38.
Because he's the big enough kind of guy that he's going to he's able to muscle his way around. I think he's not going to be able to keep up on a rush, but it's more, I think, situational with Thornton. If you're going to, put any reliance on him, you'd want to put Logan Couture above him in the depth chart, I'd say.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, I would almost put him up there with Yager, where he's made it so speed's not a factor in his game really at all. So, regardless of it's his hockey sense that's giving him the edge up, and his physical, like just his physical ability, like his size. So that's as long as he doesn't break down, which.
The transition from that, from the Sharks, even from Marleau to the Leafs kind of thing, is a lot of things people question, because Marleau was mostly speed, and Kadri's even said it, though, over the preseason, is that Marleau gets into the corners, and as a center, your initial reaction is to go support your winger. Yeah. But I guess Marleau apparently has the size that he just does it by himself, and you just need to get open. But I find it weird in that it was Thornton who had all the assists. Typically Thornton rocked like a ridiculous amount of assists. I don't have his stats in front of me, but 50 plus kind of thing. And so if Thornton, has lost a step, then honestly, I don't think he has lost a step, because he's been able to keep up to this point and keep those high assist totals. And I don't think it's been like a slanted total like you'd see with some players who solely play power play. Yep. Or things of that nature.
No, for sure. He's a unique guy physically. So it's hard to judge, it's hard to say, like, does he become like Chara, where he's still effective, but you don't notice him anymore? Or does he like Yager, and he's just going to keep being a stud till his body gives out on him?
Yeah, and but to that, Yager, I think, is going to be playing a bottom six role now that he's signed with Calgary. I don't think he'll play, because he's shown.
Oh, I'm not comparing him directly. They're 7 years apart. I'm just giving a situation. Anyways, let's move on.
Very fair. Very fair.
We don't know anything about the Sharks. That was all bullshit. News: Vancouver gets Pouliot.
Yeah, and it seems like Pittsburgh is really just doing a throwaway kind of thing. It's a situation for the player that, it's a trade that suits the player better, I would say. He's not going to climb up the depth chart too quickly with Pittsburgh. He has an expiring contract.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of a guy that didn't make the team, them trying to get something other than losing him in waivers.
Yeah, because they got a player in return. He's a former 3rd or 4th round pick.
Big body.
He's massive. Yeah, he's 6'5", but.
It's better. Like, I think, like I said, I think it's better anything than nothing.
Yeah, and they got a pick out of it. That's the exact, to your point. They got a 4th round pick out of it, as well as that gigantic mountain of a defenseman.
For sure, and it gives Pouliot a chance, really, in Vancouver on a rebuilding team, to take a spot.
Yeah, and another move that happened today was Malcolm Subban was very quickly put on waivers, and then was very quickly picked up by the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which completely makes sense. We looked at the goalie depth chart, which was pretty much non-existent. They don't have too many goalies in their system. Granted, they're an expansion team, but it makes, it's another guy, much like Vancouver, where you get that situation of, you're going to get more playing time here.
Well, he wasn't exactly. He's going to get playing time in the AHL. They need to pad their system, where Boston, it looks like their system had enough. It was a logjam. You'd think it's just, for me, it's not so much a surprise that Vegas picked him up, but that Boston couldn't negotiate a little bit of a deal with somebody, just kind of like Pittsburgh did for Pouliot. Because you like, I don't know if I'm biased or if it's because he's named Subban that he gets extra press, but I was under the impression that he was a fairly highly touted goalie. He was drafted first round.
He was, and then it seemed like he just kind of disappeared. Like, he got his chance with Boston. I remember him playing a few games, but I don't think he was anything special.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, for sure. I think athletically he's super gifted, and people, at least from what I did a little bit of reading before, is people are like his scouting. They still say that he's got the athletic ability. It's like from what I was reading,
23 years old.
Well, that's it. It's hard to find a negative. It's just opportunity.
So yeah, with the Golden Knights, you have very few goaltenders. I mean, and in the first year, they're going to give a guy, especially in the AHL, a lot more look to be their starter since he's had that NHL experience.
Yep, no, for sure. All right, Buffalo likely about to sign Eichel, 8 years, 10 per.
Breaking news for the Crapshoot Hockey Pod. This is something that just came up in our prep. I mean, about 15, 20 minutes ago, there was a Buffalo.
Oh, here it is. 10 minutes ago.
Is it?
Eichel agrees 8-year, 10 million, or 8-year, 80 million extension with the Sabres. So 10 per.
There's your franchise guy.
Through 2026.
And it makes sense.
Yep. Highest paid players in the NHL. Connor McDavid will have the top hit at 12.5, followed by Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and Carey Price at 10.5. Then Eichel and Anze Kopitar at 10. Well,
all that makes me think of is, well, when it comes time, I wonder what Austin Matthews is going to get.
Yeah,
but that's another topic. Maybe, I don't know.
We can come back to that. I just after we react to like, what does this mean for Buffalo? Like, is the rebuild
locking
over?
Down a future,
or is it like,
absolutely. They clearly had the cap space. I'm bringing up their roster now. You know, you have guys who are not in their late 30s. First glance at this roster, Jason Pominville is 34. Like he can still skate, and the rest of the team is mid 20s to late 20s kind of thing.
Any word about his health? He hasn't played exactly too many games. Like last season, he had 61 games, 57 points in 61 games, minus 13.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a recurring thing for him. But holy moly.
It's to me, honestly, I just think it's crazy. Like, I even think that McDavid contract is crazy. That's a lot of pressure for a young kid. Like, there's been big contracts before, but nothing like this. Like, that's, again, like, it's one thing with McDavid with the whole organization that he has around him and who he is and all of this. And don't get me wrong, I don't know a whole lot about Eichel, but I mean, a young kid in Buffalo making $10 million a year, like,
and I
believe that for your expectations.
That says, I think that says to him, you're the next captain.
Yeah,
clearly, you're the next one that's going to lead the ship because, I brought up the roster, but it was through Cap Friendly, and they have a lot of expiring contracts.
Yeah.
The ones that are through, more than 3 years, you got Ryan O'Reilly, Kyle Okposo,
so is this
Ristolainen, Zach Bogosian, some young core. There's a young core to start with, but I think they're really saying is, Eichel, you're the one that's going to stay here. Ryan O'Reilly is going to be your number 2.
That's it. I was going to say, is it for him or is it for them? Are they like, do you think he just walked in there asking a ridiculous amount of money and they were like, you know what, fuck it. Like, we want everyone else to feel like there's something happening here. And without you, there's nothing happening here. So here, take what you want.
Yeah, because it definitely creates a buzz. Because exactly that. It's like, whoa. We're not gonna wait until the end of the year to go through the whole painstaking media process.
That's it. You're our guy. This is what you want.
Will he?
Fuck it. We have the cap space. I don't care if you're actually worth 10 million. You're worth 10 million to us.
Yeah. And, 8 years can come back to bite you, but
yeah, or it could also come back and be an insanely good deal. That's
true. You don't know, and that's it. Is these ridiculous contracts, and I mean, yeah,
it's interesting. So, what do you think? So, now as we move on into the another crappy Leafs versus Habs segment, we're gonna add that right to the start. What does Eichel signing for that do for your expectation for Matthews?
Oh, for Matthews, money?
Yeah. Like, what do you expect?
Then this right now, that it means that starting tomorrow, every single point and play is going to be compared to that. And when it comes time, if he has more goals, more assists, more this, more that, more anything, he's going to get more than 10 million.
Yeah.
That's all that means, and I don't think, it'd be absurd to think that it was a Buffalo Sabres tactic to just give him 10 million and say like, oh, looks like the Leafs got to do more than that. Can they hang on to him? Kind of thing. No, that's stupid. That's a crap tweet. No,
for sure. For sure.
But
I just mean like for the market itself, that's setting a steep price for a young guy with 2 seasons under his belt.
I think he's worth it. He would have got it after this season, regardless. I think.
Yeah.
But it definitely sets a precedent that 10 million is your elite status contract coming out. It is. You wonder about those second line guys for the Leafs, right? Like, Draisaitl got 8.
Yeah. So what does that leave Marner? What does that leave Nylander? What does that leave Kadri?
And Nylander's the one that's up this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, who's to say that this Eichel contract isn't going to be something to at least start with Nylander?
Yeah, what if Nylander comes out of this making 6.5, 7? Things are going to start getting shaky already in Capland.
Yes, exactly. That stuff makes me worried. Oh my god.
That was fun. That was a fun impromptu segment. I like it. Actually, you know what? Why don't you roll into your Leafs bit? You take it, and then because there's not much about the Habs, then we can talk a bit about our fantasy.
Yeah, are off the board. Not really off the board, but off the emotion picks.
Yeah, just enough to piss each other off.
So yeah, we got the Leafs and Jets tomorrow night. That's game 1. Do the Habs play tomorrow too?
I don't know.
We'll check.
Been so busy trying to find replays of Sharks games. Yeah,
looking
Buffalo.
Up Joe Thornton's beard.
Oh no, wait, not tomorrow. On Thursday, Buffalo. Yeah, Leafs Winnipeg tomorrow.
Yeah, so the Leafs. Yeah, they ended up cutting. Well, not really cutting, but they sent their rookies to the minors as opposed to their vets, which kind of got Twitter in a frenzy. And I got them going with my so let's start it off. Eric Fair and Dominic Moore actually made the team for the Leafs as opposed to who I thought last week, Miro Aaltonen, had a really good chance.
Yep.
But they also mentioned, giving experience the Tygos, so the runner sort of say.
Yeah, for sure, because they can improve with more time. An older guy's not going to need as much time.
Yeah, and all of the guys too, especially so there was also Kasperi Kapanen. He didn't make the team. There was
Kapanen didn't make the team?
No. That was one that was more surprising than anything, actually, but not so much because of the depth.
Yeah, for sure. But I thought, not that I watched a lot of Leafs, but I thought he was like a big deal.
Big deal. Him and Shoshnikov actually were two of the guys that actually made the media ask, because Lou Lamoriello came out and he was the one that released the statement about, who made the team and everything. And his statement, actually, because I retweeted it on Leafs Nation, was both Shosh and Cap played extremely well. Unfortunately, there comes a business decision involved when they have the ability to go down because they don't need waivers.
Shitty buzz. So
when you have the depth,
Ty goes to the one way. Yeah.
Ty goes to the one way. Yeah. And so he says, when you have the depth we have now, you have to make those decisions, but they're knocking on the door. They'll be back in the NHL. And the most important message is they can't go down. Be disappointed, but don't let up on the gas. You have to continue to force us to let you back up.
Yeah. For sure.
So it makes sense. It hopefully doesn't get them too discouraged. And oh my God, the lineup that the Marlies are going to have, I would not be surprised if they go on a big old Calder run. The only thing that'll ruin that are injuries to the current team late in the year, and that, the Leafs are in a playoff run, so they bring up all the guys from Marlies. Marlies lose a bunch of guys at the end of their season kind of thing. But I would rather go Leafs go than, than a Calder cut.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, so that was interesting. The other interesting part was the D-core. I don't think it was any surprise that Roman Polak didn't make it. Yeah. He was injured out of that playoff series. He went down super weird, and like his leg was bent kind of backwards kind of thing. So he had a bunch of off-season rehab and surgery.
But he passed the physical?
He passed the physical, unlike Loops. He's getting a third opinion, though, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. No. But, yeah, no, Polak actually, he's cut from his PTO, the pro tryout, but he's still practicing with the team.
Oh, okay.
So I think the idea is that once he's conditioned, he comes back. And this is only to give the kids more time with the Marlies. And I only, my big thinking there is, one, they're young.
Yeah.
The ones that got sent down to the Marlies. And the other part is that they have played in the Swedish Elite League, which mostly plays on international ice.
Yeah. So maybe just a conditioning thing.
Conditioning and to get used to the spacing that you have. A lot. I would assume a lot of defensemen have a lot more skating room in the Swedish Elite League or any of those international ice leagues. So getting used to a smaller, more narrow ice and knowing what space you have is probably a little more important than just being young, giving them a chance kind of thing when you have that experience, as Lou said, right? So
for sure. No, it'll be interesting to see, how things roll from the first week. Like, because you wonder, are they giving them their games, and then the older guys get their gig or what?
Yeah, and especially giving younger guys one, which is a great transition over to the Habs, is that Victor Mete, who we hyped up, big time in the last podcast, was he made the team, and it looks like he's going to skate alongside Shea Weber as well.
Yeah,
and if I read correctly, he is a late round pick that they had, and he is,
you can't
snake in the grass.
That's it. You can only draft what you see, and you can't see the heart through the jersey.
Ain't that right, bud?
But no, like, I would love for that to happen, because if we get this kid coming out of nowhere, taking that first slot, all of a sudden.
And how cool is that too?
Yeah, that's it. And
19 years old,
playing with Shea Weber.
What were we doing at 19?
This, but without cameras.
You're right. Like We were sitting in your basement, actually.
Yep.
Or were we?
No, or were we in our house?
We were in Ottawa. We were in Ottawa.
We would have been at our house.
Enemy territory.
Yeah.
In the radio
house.
We
lived there. It was a Habs and Leafs zone.
Yeah.
No sense allowed. Except
the touch of French people coming through.
Yeah. All right. So for the Habs, yeah, Mete, that's awesome. I'm also super excited that De La Rose, Hudon, and Lehkonen are all up. Like, when I saw that, I just immediately thought about Michel Terrien. And, like...
The old ways are gone.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, my God. The young guys are getting a chance. I can't wait to see what the lineup is. I don't... Honestly, like, we've had so many hot starts over the last bunch of years and just cool finishes that throwing some young guys out there and, you know, maybe we don't get off to the best start, but we're getting these guys like there instead of relying on fourth rounders that we pick up at the trade deadline.
Oh yeah. And those young guys too, that, I mean, Galchenyuk is still 23.
That's it. Yeah. Gallagher's,
you know, like Gallagher's still young, and those guys, especially when you get a newer coach and then you get an infusion of youth, that's inspiring. For sure. Plus, you got Carey Price and Shea Weber back there just being like, yeah, like, we got this. You skate. You guys go skate.
Yeah, like, you guys, like, we've just been waiting for someone to show up and score goals. Like, get out there, boys. Like, go.
Yeah. Go have fun.
Yeah.
We'll shut it down. And I wonder about the the overall speed of the defense. You know, who aside from Mete has any speed coming out of the zone? Because from what I've seen, is Bulow is now in Buffalo, and Kovalev again. Man, oh man, me and Kovalev, Markov.
And you meant Beaulieu, right?
They seem to be the. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Like the old Habs defenseman.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure what you said. I wasn't sure if you cut out or you just said something else.
Now that those guys, it seemed like those guys were puck movers that had speed, kind of thing. And aside from Mete, I don't really see a lot of speed in the decor.
No, but there's Jeff Petrie, who is a high level puck mover, and they also brought in Mark Streit, who I talked about last week, who I don't know, like, I definitely see him as a rotating defenseman, but if they really need a shot on the power play, he's not going to move the puck out of the zone quite as well, but to work in their zone on the power play and be that puck moving defenseman, he could very well be the guy.
Yeah, and experience is something that, you know, isn't obviously taught. So he's 39 years old, and there's something to be said about that as well.
Yeah,
you know, trading veteran for veteran at a lower price.
That's it. That's where I see that fitting in is if Mete steps up and takes on some of that duty between Mete, Streit, and Petrie, they should be able to more than make up for Beaulieu and Markov. Because I think
ideally,
because Petrie deserves a bigger role. I think Jeff Petrie is one of the more underrated guys in the league. I think he's going to show that this year because he's going to get the opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get the opportunity. So, they must. You know, ideally, why not say to him, "Hey, this is your time now. You know, your responsibility is now."
Yeah.
So he can only run with it.
He's been 29 years old. He was the number one guy in Edmonton for years. Like, it's not new.
Yeah, true enough. And so to work alongside and second line too, because he's going to be on a second line role. Like we've said, you know, it's going to be Weber and Mete.
Yeah.
So
I think eventually it's not going to be Mete. I think this is just temporary. I mean, rookies, like you always say, they try so hard to make it in training camp that the wheels tend to fall off after a little while. I can't see him holding up that slot all year. I think that's where the depth is going to come in where Strite can share that position with any of these new guys. I don't know exactly. Schlemko might come in handy there as a puck mover. I've heard that he's good at that. But I haven't seen enough.
Schlemko's injured, I believe, right now.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's why I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch Minnesota. I think that's where he was. Anyways. Yeah, so that's that. So I guess
I took Drouin in the fantasy draft. If there's anything to add to that, I mean,
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I was pissed off because I had first pick, so I was drafting back to back. So there was a long time in between my picks, and I was sitting there and I scrolled down and I saw that Drouin was like a fair ways down. So when I picked, I was like, oh, I should be okay. He's like way down the list. There's only so many picks. And then all of a sudden, someone started scrolling down the list on the draft board, and Drouin popped up.
That was me.
And I just went, fuck. No, I hope nobody saw that. And it really didn't help that Yahoo has him listed as a center, left winger, and right winger. Because I knew that was going to catch somebody's eye. And like, was that the deciding factor, or are you legitimately like intrigued by the possibility of Drouin?
Both, absolutely both. So it was like I think Drouin's going to do very, very well.
But you weren't scrolling down looking for Drouin, were you? That's basically what I'm getting at. Or like you just saw that he had 3 positions and went, fuck, I better take that.
As soon as I saw it was 3 positions, I went, yeah, you know what? There's flexibility there.
Okay. Because that's what I mean is like, because I would have been scrolling down looking for him regardless of whether he was just listed as a center or just listed as a right wing. That's what I mean. Like I wasn't positional flexibility for me. I was just trying to see how far he was going to go down that I'd be safe to get him.
It was, oh yeah, Drouin. That's right. And so I just wanted to see how far away is he, because I want to say 5 picks in between. So I wondered if I could wait another 3 rounds. He was right there, and there were the multiple positions. And so it's like, that's too tempting. I feel like somebody has, like somebody's seen this.
Well, like it's not even that I saw that. It's that I wanted him.
Yeah, you wanted him. Yeah. Yeah. Like he was your next pick. Woo.
Yeah. That's what I said. Like I would have picked him the last round had I thought that he was anywhere in play in your guys' minds at all.
And then you took Morgan Riley.
Yeah, I took Riley after that because I was pissed off. So I'm going to probably try and package him up and trade him to you.
I don't want him. He's useless in this league. He gets blocks and power play time.
Well, I was going to say somebody's got to run a power play with those guys.
It's true.
And I got him super late.
Maybe I will take him.
Like super late. Anyways, let's do our predictions because the season hasn't started yet, and we might as well get them down so that when I say I told you so, you can come back and have video evidence of how wrong you were.
Ah, son of a bitch. All right. So should we do hopeful predictions? Like
do whatever. No, we're coming back to this at the end of the season. And
all right, so
whoever was wrong as fuck, and you're always going to be wrong as fuck. All credibility will be lost.
Yeah, so then you're no longer on the podcast. This prediction decides who gets to keep Crapshoots Hockey Podcast.
Well, if we both have good predictions, then we're good. But if you're they're gonna get 115 points and win the cup, and they don't even make the playoffs, then I'm going to laugh at you, and I'm going to replay it.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to pull up the old standings here, just so who do we got here? I don't think the Red Wings are going to do anything. I don't think the Panthers are going to do much.
Points. Instead of position, just points.
Yeah, no, I'm just basing going through the teams that they got to go through. Points, I think 93.
93.
And that's good for 6.
Cool. Okay. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
And
then,
for
Habs, I believe they finish above. I do believe. So wait, it'd be 6. Oh shoot. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go. It's Habs and Leafs at 4-5. So they play each other first round, and that has nothing to do with the EA Sports prediction.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think just based on the division, it's going to be very tight. So it's going to be. So yeah, I'll stick with 93 for the Leafs, and it's going to be 95 for the Habs.
Okay. Okay. And then playoffs. Where do you see
That's yeah.
Where do you see them going in the playoffs? Habs, Leafs, and then also predict who you think is going to win the cup, because we want all our predictions down.
Yeah. Okay. So then Habs, Leafs. Then it's going to be. I'll just take my heart. Say Leafs are in 7 in overtime.
Oh well, you don't have to go. I just mean, how far do you think each team's going to make it? I don't.
Whoever survives that first round, if it is Leafs Habs, is going to be knocked out that next round because it was so much of an emotional toll.
Okay,
and then
so your playoff prediction hinges on your regular season prediction being correct.
Well, no. Well, I don't know. Well, what?
I just mean, like, how far do you think? I would say, I think the Leafs will make it to the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make it past the first round. While I think the Habs will make it possibly to the conference final.
I wanted to get technical with it. You asked me how many points, so then I figured I was thinking about the Habs doing where they finished. They were going to finish above the Leafs. I think the Habs are going to finish above the Leafs in the standings. I think they both make the playoffs, and they might. Okay, so yeah, and that. I think they meet in the first round. If they don't, they meet in the second round. The Leafs do make it into the second round. It all depends on where they finish.
Okay, so you think the Habs will make it to the second round and the Leafs will make it to the conference final?
What a pipe dream. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Yeah, from a fan standpoint, absolutely.
Sweet.
Okay, I'd love to see it, but yeah.
My prediction is Habs get 100. They're in second place, probably behind Tampa Bay. And then the Leafs are, probably 94, 95, pretty close behind. And like I said, I think they'll make it to the playoffs, whether it's a wild card spot or they make it legit. And then I think, it's their first year, their second year, but it's still a pretty young team. And the East may be not as deep, but it's getting better. So it's going to be a playoff battle. And, like I said, that's just what I think. And then other predictions, regular season winner, I think it'll be Nashville. And cup winner, I'm going to go with Edmonton.
Oh, I was going to, I was going to say Edmonton is going to, I think they're going to put on a big show.
That one was totally from the heart. I was like,
please, please just happen for once.
Yeah.
Wanted it to happen with Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
All those guys.
All right. So, who do you think is going to win the season and cup?
Nashville's pretty solid. Nashville showed that they could really put together a solid season. I think Nashville's going for the cup.
Yep. Okay. So then, who do you think's gonna? Do you think they'll win the season, or do you think?
I think the Oilers are going to get the most points.
Okay. Sweet. So we're vice versa.
Yeah, it's going to cut. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think an East team is going to win because the East is easier. So I'm changing from Nashville winning the league to Washington.
You think Washington, like overall points, you mean?
Yeah, overall points.
Okay.
Just thinking about it, I think it's going to be a team from the East that gets the most points.
So we're saying Washington first in the East, Edmonton first in the West. First in the league, okay.
Yeah, because I think whoever's first in the East is going to be first in the league.
Just based on the weak
there's
underbelly of teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you do have your Colorados, though. You do, Vegas. I guess Arizona really did improve. You got your Vegas.
Vancouver.
It's tough to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, both of them do have their garbage, but I think the West has more of a logjam at good teams.
Yeah.
And mid-pack kind of thing, right? Like they can at least hit with the best of them.
Yeah.
It's a matter of who the heck has a Philip Forsberg suddenly hiding in the background.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. That's our predictions. Can 'em. Woo! All right, tweets.
Can 'em.
George Foreman wants to fight Steven Seagal, and some fake Steven Seagal account retweeted him and said, let's do it. And George Foreman retweeted that, all stoked and ready to go. So that's my crap tweet of the week.
Dan, that is a crappy tweet. Oh my gosh.
George Foreman says, Steven Seagal, I challenge you one-on-one. I use boxing, you use whatever. 10 rounds in Vegas. And then scroll down and see if the reply's there.
Oh, it has to be. I don't think it is because it was a quote tweet.
Oh.
That's the big problem. Oh, there's some good tweets in here.
Oh, I know. Look at this one. He's too busy plotting Earth's imminent destruction.
Oh, my goodness.
A Hollywood actor and friend of Vladimir Putin.
I know, like, George Foreman does not do his research at all.
Oh, man.
Sign the contract and let's do it, George.
Yeah. That's so good.
And so then you look at Steven Seagal. Sensei Steven. Oh my goodness. Straight to DVD film star. I'm sure the real Steven Seagal would put that on his Twitter bio. I wonder if real Steven Seagal actually has a Twitter
I don't know.
bio. Does.
Steven Seagal.
Hasn't tweeted since April though. Crap tweet.
Crap tweet.
Steven Seagal's crap at Twitter.
Oh no. Please watch my good friend. Oh man. Ew. Oh, it's just linked to his Instagram, that's why.
Well, this is no fun. Friggin' Steven Seagal.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steven Seagal. You ruined our segment. All right.
So did George Foreman.
So thankfully we came up with a backup, and it's we've rounded up all of our favorite Lupo-related tweets. So do you have them out? Or do you want
me to bring that up?
Yeah, might as well.
All right. We'll pull up some of them here. So the first one is about the old the new changes to Twitter, which is very key for Joffrey Lupul. Thank you, Twitter, for raising the character limit. Now I can finally list all of my injuries in one tweet.
Bazing. Bazing. I like that one. I think it was good because Joffrey Lupul didn't pass his physical.
It's made of glass.
Again. One thumbs up. Real J Lupul.
Poor Lupul. Will he get a third opinion?
I think he's gotten more than 3 opinions. I think he's gotten hundreds of thousands of opinions.
Oh my god. And then the one that I think wins it all.
Yeah, I agree.
Lupul has already been lupuled. Marinson, probably Levo, will be Corradoed.
Yeah, I love it.
It's solid on so many levels.
No, look, it's a conspiracy, I'm telling you.
It's now Lupul Island.
Is it?
Oh, wait. Or did Lupul throw the physical?
I think Lupul
so he didn't have to play with the Marlies.
Nah, I think Lupul threw the physical because he likes donuts.
And living in Hawaii.
I bet you he weighed his options and was like, I can either put in like a lot of work and go through a lot of pain just to like play and get hurt again, or I just like take the summer
just so
off.
I can end up exactly where I am.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have enough. Like he's got enough guaranteed contract to last him the rest of his life.
Oh,
I feel like that Instagram post is like, that's the, maybe he had a few pops and was just like, it really sucks that I'm getting screwed like this because he possibly got asked to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he probably has been reflecting on it going, well, what are my other options? And looking at it going like, I can keep being a pro hockey player and make way, way less money and probably hurt myself for the long run. Or I just fucking shut my stupid idiot mouth and
just take the paycheck. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And it's the whole reason Stefan Roboda now has like a executive position with the Leafs now.
Yeah.
Roboda Island has turned himself into Roboda Office, No,
either that or that's just where they send these guys. They're just like, can you go to floor 6?
Roboda's office.
Yeah, and it's just like this dark, like, floor. Just there's no electricity, there's no lights. It's just like this
pictures of Andrew Raycroft line the walls.
Yeah, just like a bunch of shitty old memorabilia. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like it. That's where. Yeah. Sorry, I have a shady opinion of the Leafs organization right now.
Roboda, that's the hallway to Roboda's office, though.
Yeah,
is just all the pictures that they accidentally hyped up in the big office. So it's like all those pictures of Colby Armstrong or something.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Now that he's with Sportsnet,
Ooh.
Even Sportsnet didn't want them.
Ooh. Sportsnet. I don't know.
Looks like we're never getting Colby Armstrong on the podcast.
No. Well, he's on Sportsnet. Why would we want anyone on Sportsnet on?
Oh, geez.
We have 0 viewers, and our content is almost as good as theirs.
Which
at least our takes are fresh.
Yeah, they're hot.
They are because they're hot shit.
Oh, just flaming shit. It's just terrible.
All right, thanks for coming out, everyone. That was a great episode. Oh wait, we need to figure out who we're watching next week. Bandwagon of the week next week. We're trying to decide between Penguins, Flames, and the Flyers. What do you think, Ian?
I really like the. Initially I liked Phillies, and then now seeing it looks like that they're just doing the old California trip to start their season.
Yep,
which is not a terrible lineup.
No, but if we're gonna pick a team to do that, we should pick somebody else.
Let's go with Penguins. They got the St. Louis Blues, Chicago Blackhawks, Nashville Predators.
Yeah, I like that because Calgary has Edmonton, Winnipeg, Anaheim, which is fun. But I don't know. St. Louis, Chicago, Nashville. That's just a powerhouse way to start the season. If we're looking like purely for exciting hockey, I think that would be my recommendation for sure.
Yeah, seeing Edmonton, Calgary play, we'll see them. We'll see them eventually. We'll hit both of them when they're on a hot streak. When Line and McDavid are.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll have lots of chances to see them.
Woohoo!
All right.
That's another episode 1.
Yep.
Crapshoot
Episode 1 in the can next week. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Come back.